So today I'm going to talk about oppression in marriage. So oppression in marriage can surface in several different ways. Um, I'm going to talk about 4 different ones. One of them being communication. In communication, you can be oppressed or oppress someone by refusing your spouse to the opportunity to speak, to have conversations, to get things understood through um, just meetings that allow you guys to now refresh on what your goals are as a unified couple, um, so that now you guys know what to do and how to do it moving forward. When you deny that spouse the opportunity to um, have a meeting with you, to discuss with you, to have a conversation, you are expressing them with depriving them the opportunity to converse with you. Another way to oppress through the use of communication is to what if they just start talking and try to start having to call you out on something that that they experienced, that you did, or just something that they shared. When you talk over them, raise your voice, or cut them off, you're also using you're oppressing them by depriving them the opportunity to move forward in the conversation, to finish, to complete a sentence, to complete the what they want to express in entirety. Another way is to be disingenuous. So if you actually grant them the opportunity to talk with you, and they start talking, and you have already in your mind and your heart that you're not going to follow any of the requests that they have made out to you, any plans that that he or she now want to abide by moving forward, but you have no commitment in your heart to abide by this rule, it's only for that person to abide by, then those rules are for the other person. Everything you're saying is what I'm going to expect of you. Then that is how you can oppress them through communication, being disingenuous and trying to patronize them through by letting them talk, but also knowing fully well you have no intention to act out any of the requests. Another form of oppression can be through finances, depriving the other person of access to the amount of money you make, knowledge to the amount of money that you make, spending the money that you make. Now, there's an agreement in both communication and all the other categories of oppression that I'm going to talk about in this video. There can be an agreement starting from day one, as you get to know each other, and then revisiting this conversation when you're married. What are we going to do concerning the bills? Utilities are this much, mortgage and rent, whatever, is this much. I make this much, you make this much. How much are we going to take from our checks? Or let's say only one person's working. Let's say he's not working or she's not working. And so in that situation, when only one person is working, it does not automatically mean that the person that is working should not share with share with their spouse how much they make and what they're using the money for, as far as like taking care of utilities and all bills. It is still possible to be on one accord, even though only one stream of income is coming in. One way to oppress someone is to deprive them of access and knowledge. And another way is through access. You can oppress your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship with lack of access. Let's say you don't give them access to their phone, the access to the joint account, access to the home, the children, things that you guys once agreed upon that this is now both ours, or something that is solely theirs, you deprive them access to that, that is a way of oppressing them. And that's also just a form of manipulating. When you do that, it's a form of control. And the last way that I'm going to talk about how someone can oppress someone is through standards. So you can place standards on your spouse. For example, you can say that you're going to have to let me know when you take money out from the account. You have to, you can't do this because I'm unfamiliar with that thing you want to be involved in, or that group of people that you want to be hanging out with. So, why would letting your spouse know how much money you're taking out from the account be a form of oppression? I'm currently married, so if I share with my spouse that, oh, I just took $10 out of the account, which is something he has asked to do, asked that I do, I'm only letting him know to also be on guard for pending charges. I took out $10, so don't think that we have this amount plus the 10. Be aware that I just took out 10, so keep that in mind. And that would be healthy. Now, if it came to where he didn't abide by the same rules that he's asking me to abide by, that's a form of oppression. Having me to abide by a standard that they are not abiding by, that's a form of control, oppression, call it however you want. But it's oppression when you limit the other person from freedom and access to things that they otherwise would have had they not honored your requests. You are in that form, you are oppressing them. Now, I remember when I got an invitation to, there was a coworker having a party at her home, and then she shared some invitations to some of the female coworkers. I brought it home, shared it with my husband, and on the invitation it said ladies night, and he was just like, what? I cannot believe that it specifically says no husbands, no kids. He went berserk out of, you can call it so many different things, but I remember trying to honor him at that moment, and my level of honor was far beyond what God asks us to do. So when we think that we're honoring someone and we're in fact maybe people pleasing, which is a form of idolatry, then that ain't, we're doing what God ain't asked us to do. We doing above and beyond, and that's not in the parameters of Scripture. So that's on my part. Now, him and his I don't want to say ignorance, but it's more so fear. Like, for it to had rattled him to the point to where he took offense. It's a reflection of his lack of security. So there's nothing I would have been able to say, and even so, I would have been talking based on what? Because it was an invitation. I wasn't hosting the party. It was something that I would have been able to go to had he not been thrown by the fact that no man and no children could attend. And that's also some years ago. So he has blossomed into something quite different than that. That was a form of oppression. That, as well as I had an invitation to come to my reunion, high school reunion, and I didn't ask in that first month that I was receiving my invitation, but super excited. I was seeing posts of classmates, former classmates posting their pictures, and I was pregnant then, and I invested my self-worth in the fact that just having kids so easily. And was I pregnant with twins or pregnant with, I don't know, but all the same, I was that was going to be one of the things I used to show off. And so based off of the conversation that we're going on the Facebook, and so I was going to be able to join this group of girls that were all pregnant as well. However, when I shared this invitation, And this, when I shared it to my husband, he was unfamiliar with high school reunions. And so if you do all your schooling in a different country, then yes, someone is going to have to fill you in into how, what the point is and how important it may or may not be to you. So it was not so much important, but it was definitely exciting to just to be seeing these pictures. It seemed like everyone else was equally excited. Of course, the ones that were posting were equally excited. And so I remember putting into his hands whether or not I would go or not. And unfamiliar with the parameters of biblical submission. But not only did he put a stake down in the fact that he was unfamiliar with the value and the importance of doing such a thing, because of that, he couldn't even circle back and say, just because I don't know doesn't mean that you can't have the evening and enjoy that, or we partake in it together. There's enough knowledge about me that made you comfortable enough to marry me that he should have drawn from that to be to use in this situation, to encourage him that I may be making a possibly good decision attending this high school reunion. But not only did he get over the fact that he was unfamiliar with and had never heard of high school reunions before, he never gave me an answer. So it just came and went. And I held resentment because of that. So, but that's something that I also need to be in charge of. I can't forgive myself because Jesus already died for us, but I can hold unforgiveness. So not only have I released that, not to him, but I can do that directly to my God, because I'm gonna come off self-righteous to him. I forgive you, but I've definitely repented for that unforgiveness, and also have since that time have come to him and said, this is what I'm doing, and help me to know your schedule at this time and this time, and how I can be of assistance in getting the kids taken care of, or we don't like nobody babysitting our kids. So just how it can best fit you and myself during these hours. And so the communication style I've added some creativity and still kept the respect and reverence as it should be, biblically founded. But other than that, those are a few categories, and there may be more, of oppression in marriage.